The BBC documentary series Up confirmed an undeniable fact. They tracked a group of children from different social classes for 49 years, ultimately revealing a harsh reality. Most children born into poverty remain poor as adults, while children born into wealth remain affluent. This has led many to lament the increasingly apparent trend of social class immobility, with the pathways to upward mobility seemingly closing. However, despite the solidification of social classes, there is always 5% of people from impoverished backgrounds who manage to break through their social class and achieve upward mobility. Why do most impoverished individuals struggle to escape poverty while a small minority can rise from nothing? Some experts and scholars have been researching this question, and eventually a book provided an answer. This book is called Scarcity, the result of extensive research by American economist Mullanathon and psychologist Schaffer. After 10 years of investigation, they finally identified the main culprit behind why the poor struggle to escape poverty: a scarcity mindset. What is a scarcity mindset? It's the tendency to focus more on what is lacking when resources are limited. For example, for someone with poor economic conditions, their main concern might be finding cheaper groceries. As a result, they may be willing to travel extra miles or take more public transportation to find lower-priced groceries. However, the value of the time wasted far outweighs the money saved on groceries. Mullanathon explains that a scarcity mindset narrows one's perspective, leading to tunnel vision where only a limited view is possible, much like looking through a small hole in a fence and only seeing a single leaf. In other words, a scarcity mindset causes the brain to become fixed, with poverty itself not being the real threat, but rather the fixed mindset resulting from scarcity. In their book, Mullanathon and Schaffer introduced the concept of bandwidth. Bandwidth refers to the width and capacity of one's mental resources. If this bandwidth is constantly filled with a scarcity mindset, it can affect a person's cognitive and executive abilities, ultimately trapping their life in a cycle of fixed patterns. Mullanathon and Schaffer once conducted a survey like this. In the vegetable market of Kolkata, India, there is a group of very poor small vendors. Every morning, they borrow 1,000 rupees from the wealthy to purchase goods, and after selling them, they can get back 1,100 rupees. In the evening, they have to return 1050 rupees to the wealthy, meaning their daily income is 50 rupees. Then, they spend all 50 rupees, never having the concept of saving. In fact, if the vendors save 5 rupees each day for the next day's purchase, due to the power of compound interest, they would only need 50 days to no longer need to borrow the initial 1,000 rupees, and their income would steadily increase from then on. The results of this win-win situation are almost within reach, but none of the vendors do this. They continue to live for decades borrowing and repaying money, never considering an alternative approach. The book states that people who have long been in a state of scarcity are consumed by a scarcity mindset, which depletes a significant amount of their cognitive bandwidth. Their judgment and cognitive abilities are greatly reduced because they are overly focused on immediate problems, leaving them with no extra bandwidth to consider investments and long-term development issues. In other words, a person becomes impoverished, their thinking becomes dull and short-sighted. A wealthy person saw a very poor man and decided to help him by giving him a cow, telling him to use the cow for farming so he could escape poverty by autumn. The poor man, filled with hope, started working hard, but after a few days, the cow needed grass and the man needed food, making life even more difficult. The poor man thought, why not sell the cow, buy a few sheep, slaughter one for immediate relief, and let the rest breed so they can make more money? So, he ate one sheep, but the lambs had not yet been born, and life remained difficult. The poor man thought again, this won't work, let's sell the sheep and buy some chickens instead. Chickens will lay eggs quickly, and selling eggs will improve our situation. However, before the chickens laid any eggs, life remained difficult. The poor man couldn't resist and ended up eating the chickens. When only one chicken was left, the poor man thought that getting rich was hopeless, so he sold the chicken, drank 3 cups of wine, and felt all his worries disappear. Sometime later, the wealthy person visited the poor man's house, found the cow missing, and saw the poor man drinking. The wealthy person stomped his foot, saying that the poor man deserved to remain poor, and then left. In real life, many poor people are caught in this vicious cycle. Scarcity of money causes them to focus on solving immediate life trivialities, reducing their mental bandwidth, leading to incorrect perceptions and decisions, amplifying the scarcity mindset, and falling into a vicious cycle. Even if they occasionally receive help, they quickly revert back to being poor. The book mentions that the author conducted a tracking study on hundreds of poor street vendors in India, dividing them into two groups. Group A maintained the status quo without financial assistance, while Group B provided a one-time financial supplement to help them clear all debts. The study found that in the initial few months, the street vendors in Group B did not randomly spend the money or borrow again, and their living conditions improved significantly. However, in the following months, one after another, they returned to their initial state, and a year later, their level of debt was as high as that of Group A that did not receive assistance. Why did this happen? It is because even though they had money, their behavioral patterns and mindset remained the same as before, characterized by a scarcity mindset. The solidification of thinking leads to the solidification of social class, and it is the scarcity-induced poor mindset that is truly frightening. The scarcity mindset makes people focus only on immediate problems and neglect the future, ultimately leading to a need to repay double in the future. For example, people lacking money may overspend on credit cards to solve immediate financial problems, but in the future, they will have a pile of credit card bills to repay. Those facing career stagnation may focus on how to quickly find a job or high-paying job, lacking long-term career planning, ultimately leading to career bottlenecks or unemployment. To break free from the fixed mindset induced by scarcity, reallocating one's bandwidth resources is the only way. Prioritize important matters to achieve time and financial freedom in the end. For example, in time management, when faced with urgent and important matters, prioritize solving the important matters because they are related to long-term planning for the future. Harvard University once conducted a tracking survey on a group of young people with similar backgrounds and intelligence. The results showed that 3% of those with clear long-term goals and plans ultimately became top successful individuals in society, 10% with clear short-term goals and plans became middle class, while those with vague or no goals lived in the lower and bottom layers of society. Different life plans create distance between people. Social class solidification stems from the solidification of thinking. A poor mindset focuses on immediate problems, while a wealthy mindset is goal-oriented. A person's mindset determines which social class they belong to. The gap between the poor and the wealthy is not just wealth, but also mindset. We all have talents that can help us earn money more quickly and easily. If you want to know your talents through numerology, you can now purchase the course by clicking on the link below.